This movie is latest in a seemingly endless franchise of cape shit, propagated by Hollywood to keep the populace in an adolescent mindset, unable to cope with the realities of their economic slavery. This is Matt Reeves' The Batman. The Batman. Because without the, it would be confused with Tim Burton's Batman, which is a far better movie. And we wouldn't want to confuse people into watching that instead. So we add the. It's The Batman. Although with how mind-numbingly dull this movie is, it should really be called The. Reeves' script certainly echoes influences from previous filmmakers like Burton and Nolan. It presents itself as a film noir, though this classifier is misleading because the look of this film is anything but. Film noir is clearly defined by sharp contrast in the visuals. In The Batman, there is minimal contrast in the lighting or color. Everything looks muddy and out of focus. It looks like somebody defecated on the lens and smeared it around. It looks like literal shite. There are a few action scenes, none of them impressive in their stunt work, fight choreography, sound, or production design. It seems carelessly thrown together, but what action scenes do arise never last more than a couple minutes, which is a liability when your movie is 3 hours long. There's nothing wrong with long movies. I'm currently watching War and Peace by Sergei Bondarchuk in honor of my home country. But this movie does very little to justify its bloat. There are some well shot scenes, there are some good performances here and there are good ideas in the script, they're just horribly fleshed out, if at all. There's no Bruce Wayne backstory. Good. We really don't need to see his parents get gunned down in cold blood for the umpteenth time. There's so little Bruce Wayne in this movie, which gives the supporting players time to shine. Zoe Kravitz may be the best Catwoman yet. She is a scene stealer. Sadly, her character's given cringe-inducing dialogue and exhibits irrational behavior typical of her sex that only muddles the plot further. There is a scene in which she essentially becomes the hero of the story, and I'm all for this in concept, but the way she does so is laughable. Question: can a 5'2" woman lift 6'2" man in a clunky batsuit? It looks like it weighs 300 pounds, hanging from a building with just one arm? I'll let you decide if that makes a lick of sense. There's an odd trend in our culture that suggests women can overcome men with physical strength. Certainly true in the bedroom, but alas, in this movie, it is truly an LOL moment, made all the more annoying by its insistence that we take it seriously. There are numerous logical missteps that constantly take you out of the movie. What is the point, you ask? You are left scratching your bum. The Batsuit looks less like the Cape Crusader and more like RoboCop. It looks to be the heaviest Batsuit out of all the films. It doesn't look comfortable in any way, and it is bulletproof. So not only is there no point in defending himself, Batman is just a cock in this movie. He's just an eyesore taking up space. Needless to say, there is no way that this critic could survive this 3-hour cloudy turd, slow as an ancient virus-infested Dell computer. Sober. I ordered a chicken avocado sandwich and Lagunitas IPA, which cost about $50 US. In the movie's defense, I went in knowing it was probably going to be whack. in that way, didn't disappoint. Unfortunately, my low expectations of Hollywood smegma cannot repair this film's damaged quality. Bob Pattinson is a solid Batman, but there is no life to his character. John Turturro plays a convincing mob boss, and the circus gets NPC'd within 2 minutes as Alfred. Good. Fuck Alfred. Master Wayne, I touched you as an infant. What? Alfred? Why didn't you tell me? Is this kind of shit that ruined The Dark Knight Rises. Fuck off with this drama. This is not Young and the Restless, bitch. This is fucking Batman. Colin Farrell Jews up his Mick Gash with cloying makeup effects as the Penguin. The casting is almost superfluous as he's given nothing much to do. He plays a Jew you might find on the streets of Moscow, spinning dreidels and hanging out jars of gefilte fish. So many things about this movie pissed me off. It's way too long, way too long. It tries to be 3 movies at once, like Spider-Man 3 or some shit. I don't know why these movies can't just pick a villain. Like, yo, time out. Is it the Riddler? I forgot he was even in this movie. Paul Dano plays the same character he plays in every movie. It's a style, bruh. This Riddler is clearly meant to be a farce, live streaming his victims on social media. You can see the producers are clearly going for some Joker vibe, but it falls flat. Do they expect to sell Paul Dano creepy pedo Riddler merchandise off of this movie? What's his motive? Eat the rich? Is he a Bolshevik? He is not scary. He is not unsettling. He just screeches like a slaughtered lamb. He is so stupid. There's no context for anything that happens in this. When you talk about cape shit in general, I know the Avengers is trash, but at least it knows what it is. It is shit for 12-year-olds, and the Batman is for a 13-year-old who just started to realize that life sucks and people want to see him fail. So yes, this movie has good performances, some good cinematography, an atmosphere, if you can call it that, decent score as well. They play Something in the Way by Nirvana, rad. But ultimately, this movie suffers from what I call studio syndrome. The way Hollywood works now is almost entirely by committee. It didn't used to be this way. It used to be that a writer, director had a vision. They would pitch it to studio and the investors would say yes or no. Now every movie you see is so corporate, indecisive, eager to please every demographic, and in the end pissing everybody off. Boo! This is a classic case of what happens when studio calculations zap a writer's creative control. It's like a group of boomers and liberal arts majors bukkakied all over this movie that had some good ideas. Jim Gordon is employed as a sidekick, following the Batman around. In every scene he's like, shit, Jesus Christ, wow. It's like Key and Peele's skit. It's ridiculous. It's like, are you doing anything of value? Like, you want a friend? I guess if you wanted to make the point that Jim Gordon is a thankless character to begin with, I guess job well done. The script is dull and corny. I am vengeance. Really? What are you avenging? Why is the Riddler doing this? Third act is a structureless, waddling mess with 3 endings, boring action scenes, and telegraphed feminist politics. I'm not even trying to get mad at it, but I was drinking and I still fucking hated it. It's akin to watching a sprinter in a marathon faceplant just before the finish line as he is stampeded by passers-by. For all its attempts at trying something new, the film collapses under the weight of its flabby excess and lack of cohesion. I did not like the visual style. It's damp, it's ugly, it's not even dark really, it's just shit. There are random, run-of-the-mill terrorist attacks that are not filmed in any interesting way. I didn't get a sense that anyone cared about this movie. They're just trying to get paid. This is one of those movies that a corporation says, hey, if you make this, we can get you the money to make that indie you always wanted to make. It stinks. It's a soppy, wet diaper of a movie. Not as bad as that Bond movie, but it's the same shit. 4 out of 10. What you got to say about that? Let me know.